Here's another endlessly looping nested problem. There's a fixed method for solving this type of question, and once you know it, it's actually quite simple. Let's take a look at this problem. You add 1, divide by 1 plus 1, then divide by 1 plus 1, and so on. It's never ending. Let's see if there's any pattern here. Let's suppose, for example, that this whole big chunk here, let's treat it as a whole. Let's suppose the entire expression equals t, okay? So this whole thing equals t. Now, what's our second step? We need to observe where the loop starts, from which point the nesting begins. This whole big chunk itself is t. Pay close attention. Doesn't the loop start again from here? Isn't it from this chunk that the repetition begins? And then below, isn't there another smaller loop, right? This chunk, that chunk, and this whole big chunk, right? The big doll contains the small doll, and the small doll contains an even smaller doll. In other words, t itself, isn't it equal to 1 plus? 1 divided by this whole big chunk, which is still t. In other words, starting from here, everything that follows is the same as itself because it's an infinite loop. You're infinite, I'm infinite. Everyone's the same, all infinite. So can't we set up an equation from this? Let's solve for t by multiplying both sides by t. What does it become? T squared plus t plus 1, right? And then move this over. T squared minus t minus 1 equals 0. We can solve this. This is just a quadratic equation. How do we solve a quadratic equation? Using the quadratic formula. The cross multiplication method doesn't work here. The quadratic formula is t equals negative b over 2a, which is 1 plus or minus the square root of b squared. B squared is 1 minus 4 times ac. Isn't that just 1 plus 4? So it's the square root of 5, right? Then t is just 1/2 plus or minus the square root of 5. This value should be positive, right? It can't be negative. Since we're always adding, it's always positive. So we can't take 1 minus the square root of 5. We discard the minus. That means t equals 1/2 plus the square root of 5. That's it. 1/2 plus the square root of 5. If you don't believe it, you can substitute it back in and check. Try plugging it in here or here. Yeah, you can substitute it in and check to verify. Everyone, you really need to master the methods for solving this type of problem.